Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. One of my kids' favorite TV shows is Mythbusters. The host, Adam Savage, is known for saying, "I reject your reality and substitute my own." He often says this in jest, but he's actually describing the human condition, especially when it comes to money. When it comes to investments, your perception is your reality, regardless of what the facts suggest. Perceived risk is the risk you believe exists in an investment, whether or not the risk or the degree of risk really exists at all. Just over 2 years ago, the stock market bottomed from its terrifying 54% drop and began a similarly spectacular recovery. The week the market hit bottom, which the day was March 9th, 2009, I received a barrage of calls, mostly from clients who were scared to death and wanting to sell. I was able to convince the large majority of them not to sell, and another larger minority to reduce the amount of stocks they had by 10 or 20% in their portfolio, rather than sell out. In fact, during that week, I had no one that decided to carry through and sell out entirely. Now, ironically, I received a couple of calls that week, too, from clients who were similarly panicked, but they wanted to put money in the market as quickly as possible. One told me, "This is an opportunity of a lifetime." Now, as it turns out, those who wanted to invest and those who held on and did absolutely nothing were those who correctly perceived reality. Those who sold failed to distinguish fact from their perception. And in an article called The Psychology of Risk, Professor Victor Riccardi of the University of Kentucky explains that people focus on different components of the same situation. What they perceive to be true affects all of their actions and reactions. He says a person's behavior is based on their perception of what reality is, not necessarily on reality itself. Now, ironically, this aspect of human nature is the opposite of the way economists think humans react financially. According to Riccardi, the economists base economic theory on 4 premises. First, investors make rational decisions. Second, investors' objectives are entirely financial in nature, in which they are assumed to maximize wealth. Third, investors are unbiased in their expectations regarding the future. And finally, individuals always act in their own best interests. Well, this might be the way classical economists perceive human nature, but it certainly isn't reality. Had the fathers of economic theory spent a week in my office, they would have quickly concluded their 4 premises were completely out of touch with reality. Now, fortunately, a new breed of economists and psychologists are suggesting that emotions have everything to do with economics and how people make financial decisions. But this emerging field is called behavioral finance. And it asserts that people are sometimes fully or partially irrational and inconsistent in making their investment decisions. Now, my experience is that emotions can greatly interfere with self-control in making good financial decisions. And self-control is vital in making rational financial decisions. Very few people understand the physiology or the structure of their brains and have the ability to recognize when the emotional brain, the limbic system, has disconnected from the thinking brain or the cerebral cortex. Making rational decisions is no small task. Not only must we be able to process our own emotional impulses, we must also have the knowledge and imagination to anticipate consequences. So let's take the example of selling stocks during the decline. Those that sell out focus on the relief from anxiety that selling out of the market may bring. That's as far as it goes. They pick up the phone, sell. But a person that effectively stays in the market or is going to put additional funds into the market may have the same initial thought, fear, panic, but overrides that message by first accessing their left brain to access the knowledge that market cycles happen and recoveries happen in every market cycle. And recovery is just as normal as the decline. Next, they switch to the right brain to help them imagine the anxiety that would come with missing out on gains when the market does recover. Putting this all together, then they decide either to stay put or to actually put more money in the market. Now, rational financial decisions are not based on ignoring emotional impulses, but on understanding and managing them. Ironically, understanding what we make, or the process that we use to make financial decisions irrationally, is a really good step toward learning to make them rationally. Thanks for joining me.